Hello everyone, welcome back to episode 6 of our series. I'm Maria and joining me again here is Hristo. In the last episodes, we explored Azure Kubernetes Services and Kubernetes in Nutanix, how managed Kubernetes works and what it takes to run it in production. Today, we will be staying in the managed world and we'll be diving into Red Hat OpenShift and Azure Red Hat OpenShift.
Hello, Maria. Yes, today we are also looking at how OpenShift extends Kubernetes, how it integrates with Azure, and when each option makes sense for your organization.
Once again, Hristo, let's start from the beginning. What exactly is OpenShift?
Okay, so OpenShift is a Red Hat Enterprise Kubernetes platform. It's built on upstream Kubernetes, but extends it with a complete set of components that make it production ready, from CI/CD automation to building security and policy control. You get the OpenShift API, an integrated container registry, and image streams for consistent image lifecycle management. Developer productivity tools like source to image and OpenShift pipelines, powered by Tekton streamlined build automation. Operationally, it ships with Prometheus, Grafana, and a cluster version operator, which handles automated updates and cluster lifecycle tasks.
So it sounds like it is an entire platform for containerization development.
Indeed, Maria. So OpenShift standardizes what you'd normally build yourself: networking, ingress controllers, build pipelines, monitoring, and role-based access control, so teams can focus on application instead of the infrastructure. In short, Kubernetes with enterprise-grade automation, governance, and building security.
Okay, Hristo, what can you tell us about Azure Red Hat OpenShift?
Azure Red Hat OpenShift is fully managed OpenShift service jointly operated by Microsoft and Red Hat Maria. So it runs native OpenShift clusters directly on Azure infrastructure, with both vendors sharing responsibility for operations, the control plane, patching, upgrades, and security hardening. You still have full administrative access to projects and workloads through the familiar OpenShift console and command line interface, but you don't manage the underlying virtual machines, networking, or control plane nodes yourself.
So it's not just hosted OpenShift, it is truly integrated into Azure.
Exactly. ARO, in short, is deployed inside your own Azure subscription, which means it inherits Azure resource governance and integrates with natively with tools like Entra ID for authentication, Azure Virtual Network for networking, Azure Monitor and Walk Analytics for observability, Azure Policy for governance, and Azure Disks and Azure Files for the persistent storage. You can also link ARO to Azure DevOps or GitHub Actions for automated deployments, the same pipelines you'd use for Azure Kubernetes Services or AKS.
What about installation or provisioning differences?
That's a good one. So traditional self-managed OpenShift open use user provisioned infrastructure UPI. So you deploy and configure everything manually: compute, networking, storage, and control plane nodes. ARO follows the installer provision infrastructure model, IPI, and Microsoft and Red Hat handled provisioning, scaling, and lifecycle management for you. So ARO delivers the same OpenShift environment, but with managed reliability and faster time to production.
Let's continue with when should an organization choose OpenShift instead of ARO?
Okay, so go with self-managed OpenShift when you need full control. For example, in air-gapped or regulated environments, Maria, where you can't rely on a public cloud service. You can deploy on bare metal, VMware, or any cloud. You control upgrade schedules, security policies, and integrations with internal systems such as the LDAP or custom certificate authorities.
And the ARO removes most of that operational burden.
Exactly. ARO joins operations team from Red Hat and Microsoft engineers, as we said already, and continuously monitor clusters, apply updates, and ensure service level agreement backed availability. So you get a secure, compliant, and always current platform without coordinating maintenance yourself.
But what about the cost?
So self-managed OpenShift includes infrastructure, licensing, and dedicated platform staff, plus the hidden cost of the upgrades and troubleshooting. ARO adds Azure Compute and managed services fees, but removes most of the human time overhead. So for enterprises that already standardized on Azure, it often ends up to be a more predictable and cost-efficient overall. It's about deciding how much of the stack you want to manage yourself versus how much you want Microsoft and Red Hat to handle.
If we are already a part of the Azure ecosystem, what's the difference between AKS and ARO?
So the AKS, or the Azure Kubernetes Services, is Microsoft native Kubernetes platform. Lightweight, closer to the upstream Kubernetes, and ideal if you want a full control over add-ons like ingress controllers, service mesh, or CI/CD tools. ARO, by contrast, layers the OpenShift platform on top of the Kubernetes, providing operators for automated component management. OpenShift Service Mesh with Istio. We have OpenShift Pipelines with Tekton, OpenShift GitOps with Argo CD, and an integrated image registry with built-in security, scanning, and policy enforcement. It also enforces security context constraints that use OpenShift OAuth for authentication and support role-based access mapped directly to the Entra ID identities.
So the AKS is modular and flexible, but the ARO is opinionated and fully integrated.
Exactly, Maria. So AKS gives you building blocks, while the ARO gives you a ready-to-use enterprise platform. So if you want to design and tune every layer yourself, AKS is great. But if you need standardized security, governance, and vendor support out of the box, Azure Red Hat OpenShift delivers that. And here the takeaway is that OpenShift is full control and customization, while the Azure Red Hat OpenShift provide managed, consistent, enterprise-grade experience, jointly supported by Red Hat and Microsoft. And here the Azure Kubernetes Services, on the other hand, is lightweight, flexible, and focused on the core Kubernetes experience. Choose based on your operational maturity, compliance needs, and how much of a platform you want to manage yourself.
We have covered OpenShift fundamentals, how Azure Red Hat OpenShift works, and how it compares with Azure Kubernetes Services and self-managed setups. Thank you for tuning into episode 6. We'll see you next time.
You'll find all the links to my detailed blog post in the description down below. Until next time, goodbye all.
Bye.